Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm kind of excited, and I'm actually very, very honored to be here. Everything we're talking about is how can you, this is in your control, how can you be more generous? And it doesn't cost you a nickel, right? How can you be more generous? How can you give more gifts, give more of yourself? Doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of energy. You're going to do it anyway, right? But we can be better at it. We can be more strategic. We can be more generous. Anybody familiar with the 4 stages of learning? Here's how it goes. Step 1, unconscious incompetence. This simply means that we don't know what we're not good at. We don't even know. There's lots of things you don't know that you're not good at. Part of life, right? Here's the problem. That stage, you don't get to move off that stage by yourself. You have to see something. You have to hear something, see something, smell, taste, touch. One of the senses has to be engaged to move off of that space, right? And so you have people out there that are in this space they don't know, and you need to give them some feedback so you can help them move to the next place. If you don't give them that help, if you don't guide them in that direction, if you don't give them that feedback, they're stuck. They're never going to grow. They're never going to get to the next place. Fortunately, as soon as you hear of something, now you are aware that it exists. You may not know how to do it. You might not know how to get better, but you know it exists. And the cool thing here is that now it's in your control because you can choose to learn how to get better, to learn how to do that. All right, so conscious incompetence, we know, but we don't know how to do it. We can learn and we can get better. We can move to conscious competence, right? So now this means that we know how to do it. It doesn't mean we're good at it. So how many people here learned to drive a manual transmission car? Yeah. How was that first week?
It was easy. Pretty good.
For many of us, that first week was full of starts and stops and shutters and stalls. And what happens is that realistically, you know how to do it. I mean, manual transmission, right? Let off the gas, push in the clutch, switch the gears, reverse, go. It's not like you know how to do it, but it takes practice and feedback. You know how to do it, but that doesn't mean you're good at it. So the next level that we really consider is this unconscious competence, right? So after you've done it for weeks or years, now you're not even thinking about it. You're just executing it. All right, so unconscious incompetence, that's basically where you're not having to think about it. That it takes practice and feedback to get to that space. And so if we think about coaching, training is where you get when you go from 2 to 3. You don't know how to do something, so there's some training. There's lots of different ways to get training. You need to know how to do it. Coaching is really all about helping you get from stage 3 to stage 4, right? So where you're not even thinking about it, right? Where generosity and this process of DISC and this understanding through conversations what people's behaviors are, what their preferences are, so that you can have a better relationship and more effective communications. It takes practice. It's not going to happen unless you practice. So that's why I want you to build a generosity habit. I want you to build a habit of being generous. All right, so practice and feedback is where it gets you from conscious competence to unconscious competence. All right, so last one I'll share with you here is this mistakes curve, right? And the mistakes curve is really simple in the sense that it's got an X and a Y axis, right? Time on the left and volume across the bottom. And whenever you're learning something new, that's where you make the most mistakes. That's where your broadest set of mistakes is, because it's new. You don't know any better. But over time, you practice, you get feedback, you get better. Nature's learning curve, right? But you can make this curve, this triangle, smaller by reading some books. How do I get a little bit smarter? Conferences like this, videos, coaching. They're all designed to make that triangle be a little smaller, accelerate your path, fewer mistakes. Does that make sense? In some ways, I think it's kind of obvious. This is what you got to watch out for. These 2 parallel lines, right? This is somebody who's not learning from their mistakes. This is what we call the failure to learn curve. So somebody's making the same mistake again and again and again. 2 parallel lines. Do they ever meet? No. So when you see somebody that's on this curve, how soon should you talk to them? Like as soon as you recognize they're on the curve? right? Because for whatever, something's broken, something's not working, they don't get it, something's not happening. It might be simple, obvious, but they don't know. So we need to move them from that unconscious incompetence space because they're stuck and they will never get there unless you step in and help them. You're not worried if they're on nature's learning curve. You want to accelerate that curve. But you are worried if they're on the learning failure curve. Turn the page. The good decisions curve. It is a mirror image of the other one, because when we first get started learning something, we don't make a lot of good decisions. All of those mistakes, all those errors that we make, those are bad decisions. I thought something was going to turn out like I wanted it to do, but it didn't. I thought I was going to be able to drive the car, but the car stalled, right? But over time, we get better. We make better and better decisions. And again, this is nature's learning curve. And as long as we're on that curve, we're making progress. So we have to be on this curve all the time. And we're in that learning curve, the 4 stages of learning in some way, somewhere, somehow, all day long in our lives. Everywhere, it never stops, right? This situation here never stops. But here's the point, right? The point here is this is about decisions. And when people first learn something new, they don't make great decisions. And so what you want to do is remove the decision-making process. If they don't have to make a decision, if they don't have to say yes or no, and they just have to follow directions, then we can take that decision process off and we can take those mistakes off. Right? And this is why we build processes. We build a process to take the decisions away because when people are learning something new, they just don't make great decisions. Part of life. Right? So this is very simple. Again, we're not perfect. We're going to have to learn. We're going to have to grow. We're going to have to practice. We're going to have to get feedback. If you don't go down that path, then you get stuck in that failure to learn curve. That's not a pleasant place to be. 1% rule, it's never about getting 100% better in one day. It's about getting a little better every day. How can I get a little better each day? It's been proven that it will generate 30 to 80% improvement over the course of a year. It does amazing things. Just get a little better. I mean, there's a little bit of dauntingness, like how am I ever going to get this? Just get a little better every day. I tell people, hey, we just need to stay focused on the F word. But it's the faith word, right? Believe in yourself. You are capable. You can do more. You'll take the theme of generosity. You will take the strategies and the systems and the tactics that we put together today and start to leverage them so that you can get better. And you will do that. Believe in yourself. You can do it, right? The power to believe, keep that inside yourself. Overcome your fears. The only way you fail is if you quit. Right? There's no such thing as failure, just lessons. Sometimes they're painful lessons. That's God. He's helping you out. He's helping you get better, right? Your goal every day is to get a little better. It's not about perfection. Just get a little bit better and never give up. Thanks, guys.